If you look past the day-to-day headlines about tariffs and trade disputes, something much, much bigger is happening. There's this deep, fundamental shift that's quietly redrawing the entire map of global business. It's being called the Great Reallocation, and we need to talk about it.
It's a really powerful way to think about it. For literally decades, all global trade kind of flowed through the United States, like it was the heart of a financial circulatory system. It was the absolute, undisputed center of everything. But that whole architecture, well, it's starting to show some serious strain. You can see the cracks forming.
So what does that strain actually look like in the real world? It means we've entered a totally new phase, a new era. And yeah, economists have a specific name for it. And frankly, it's a little worrying. Okay, and this is the absolute key thing to understand. This isn't just your typical recession or a simple business slowdown. The crucial point here is that global trade is actively being rerouted. It's like a massive, permanent traffic diversion. The old main highway is so clogged that everyone is now building and using completely new roads to get around it.
And here is a perfect example of that rerouting in action. Just look at China. Not too long ago, 19% of their exports came to the US. Now, it's plummeted down to 11%. So where did all that business go? Well, it's been reallocated, right? It's flowing to Southeast Asia, to Europe, to Latin America. This right here is the great reallocation happening in real time, and it has massive implications for who holds economic power. And, of course, there's a direct result of that reallocation, and it is stark. By late 2025, the US slice of the global trade pie hit its lowest point in over a decade. The world isn't trading less. It's just that the US is getting a smaller and smaller piece.
Okay, so let's bring this down from the 30,000-foot view. This isn't just some abstract global trend. The first major ripple effect is hitting big companies, and it's hitting them hard, right in the boardroom. It's creating what you might call a kind of paralysis.
Planning paralysis. That phrase just perfectly captures the mood. I mean, think about it. If you have no idea what tariffs will be next month, let alone next year, how can you possibly make long-term plans? It's basically impossible. And we're seeing huge companies, I'm talking giants like Stellantis and Mercedes-Benz, having to actually suspend their financial forecasts. That's almost unheard of. They just can't predict their costs anymore.
And this is the real hidden cost of all that uncertainty. All the money that should be going into innovation, building new factories, funding groundbreaking R&D, it's being diverted into just playing defense. Companies are spending a fortune on tariff lawyers and logistics experts just to figure out how to untangle and reroute their supply chains. These are moves that don't create a single new product or add any real growth.
So this corporate squeeze doesn't just stop at the boardroom door. The ripple effect keeps spreading outwards, and this is where it starts to hit you directly, in your wallet and maybe even your job security.
The Tax Foundation did the math and, well, it's not pretty. These trade barriers, they act like a hidden tax, and they're estimated to cost the average American household an extra $1,300 a year by 2026. That is a direct hit, real money out of your family's budget.
And it's not just about things costing more. The very same analysis projects a staggering loss of 436,000 US jobs because of these policies. These are not just numbers on a chart, right? That represents hundreds of thousands of families and communities facing real hardship.
All right, now we get to the deepest and maybe the most important ripple effect of them all. And that's the slow, steady erosion of the US dollar's absolute dominance over the entire global financial system.
You're going to hear this term a lot, de-dollarization. For as long as most of us can remember, the dollar has been the world's default currency for everything. But now, countries are actively looking for ways to trade using their own currencies or other alternatives. And why are they doing it? Well, it's pretty simple. They want to protect themselves from US sanctions and from unpredictable policy shifts. It's a declaration of financial independence, really. And the consequences, if this trend continues, they're huge. American banks lose out on all those transaction fees. The dollar becomes less of a safe haven for investors during a crisis. And maybe most critically, America's ability to use financial sanctions as a tool of foreign policy, well, that power gets weaker.
So when you put all these pieces together, the squeeze on companies, the direct hit to households, and this slow chipping away at the dollar's power, a brand new map of global trade starts to take shape. So what does this future actually look like? A snapshot like this from early 2026 really paints a sobering picture. I mean, look across the board.
From manufacturing and tech to finance and labor, basically no sector is untouched. We are talking about higher costs, slower innovation, less financial clout on the world stage, and real job losses. The impact is systemic, and it's hitting the very core of the economy.
And let's be really clear about this. This isn't some temporary blip. A projection from the Boston Consulting Group estimates that the U.S. share of world trade will drop from 12% all the way down to 9% by 2034. That isn't just a dip. That's a serious, long-term erosion of economic power. This is the new landscape we're heading into. So it all comes down to this one central question. The global economy is rerouting itself. It's finding new paths, creating new centers of power. That much is clear. The real question for all of us is this. Is the United States actively shaping this new reality? Or is it just being shaped by it? The answer to that is going to define our world for generations.